it's here. I want to give a huge shout out to EV Raceworks. I'll go ahead and drop their link down in the description below. Super awesome customer service, and the shipping, it literally came in like 2 days. So for those of you wondering what this is the dual moto brake setup for the Sur-Ron Lite B. In my opinion, it is the best bang for your buck, especially when you guys see everything that comes in this kit. But without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get this thing opened up and check out everything in here. So right off the bat, we got a brake line on the top. Go ahead and pull this Brembo Master out. If I'm not mistaken, this is actually a Brembo clutch for like a KTM, but it works the same way as a brake. If you go to order this kit for yourself, they have 2 different setups. This is obviously the Brembo setup, and then they also have like a budget setup, which is a little bit of a more cheaper Master. Still works good, I've heard, but personally, I'm a Brembo guy. What else we got in here? Pretty sure this is a caliper, and it already has the bracket on it, and fresh pads. Yeah, boy, look at those moto pads. There's caliper 1. Pretty sure this is the other caliper. It's got the bracket already installed on it. We're ready to be bolted on. We got here the bracket itself, and this allows for the 2 calipers, and then all the hardware below. And in here, there is the foot brake line, and then voila, the foot brake assembly. Oh wow, super good quality. Also comes with some zip ties, probably to zip tie the line out of the way, and it's got a bag of hardware and a little spring right here. And then we got the foot peg, and then last but not least in this box we got the master cylinder for the foot brake itself. This is a brake bleeder tool you put in between your pads when you bleed the system so your pistons don't pop out of place. Here we got the rotor. Let's check this bad boy out. Sheesh. Man, way thicker than stock. Pretty sure the stock Sur-Ron rotor is like 1.8 millimeters wide. This is a 3 millimeter rotor. And we have a hose to bleed the brakes. And last but not least, an EV Raceworks sticker. And just like that, we got everything unboxed and ready to go on. So without further ado, we'll see you guys in the garage. And just like that, guys, got the Sur-Ron up on the lift. So we're going to go ahead and start by taking this rear wheel off. That way we can get the new rotor on and the dual caliper bracket. And to remove that, we just need a 17 millimeter socket. Alright, now to remove the rotor, you're going to need a T30. Out with the old, and in with the new. Oh my gosh, the difference. It may not be much bigger like this way, but the thickness. And of course, I'm going to be putting a little dab of Loctite back on each one. Now we need to go ahead and pull out this dual caliper bracket. So when we put the rear wheel back on, this needs to go on instead of the factory one. And then this is the hardware to bolt the calipers to the bracket. Alright, so when you go to throw your rear wheel on, rotor side, you're going to put this dual bracket. The recessed side of the bracket goes towards the rotor. So right here where the head of the spacer is will sit right in this hole, just like that, and then this cutout in the back of the bracket will go in the swing arm. Tighten this guy back down. Here's a little tip for you guys. Whenever you're tightening up your wheel, you always want to make sure the wheel's all the way forward against the tensioners and everything straight. And the best way to do that, take yourself a rag, throw it right there in between the chain and sprocket, and roll the wheel forward a little bit. And that'll pull everything tight for you. Then you can go ahead and tighten up your wheel. And then when you roll it backwards, your chain's got the perfect slack in it, and you know everything's nice and forward and tight. Alright, so we're about to install both of the calipers on the dual caliper bracket. So it comes with 4 bolts and 8 washers. 4 of the washers are flat and 4 of the washers are a lock washer. I'm going to put them in the orientation of the lock washer first and then the flat washer. So the way these are going to get bolted on is you're basically going to bolt one down and then one up. Push that pad off to the side a little bit, drop the bolt right in, set that down on there, and then you'll come up from the bottom for this side. And these are 5mm Allens, ball and Allen wrench for the win. Pretty much same thing with this side. So we got the dual calipers on there, and that's all set up. We're going to go ahead and move on to installing the handbrake and the foot brake setup. So we're going to go ahead and remove the factory Sur-Ron handbrake up here. And then we got the fancy Brembo box. Something like it. And get your 8mm. Don't tighten this guy down all the way. Just get it snug. Make sure you can still move it around. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and install this foot brake. So to do that, you got to remove this right side peg. And to remove these two things, you'll need a 14mm socket and a 6mm Allen. And honestly, it's best to go ahead and remove the peg first. That way, the peg brace is mounted up to something and it makes it solid. Easier to remove. Alright, pretty much going to be utilizing the same factory bolts and the same factory bolt holes. Oh my gosh, look at that beautiful fitment. It's almost like it was made for the bike. Well, we got the bracket all nice and tight. We can go ahead and throw our peg back on. So originally my pegs were one hole forward, and whenever I set it up that way with this foot brake bracket, the foot brake bracket was hitting on the peg right here, and it was only allowing it to go down like level with my foot, which is not a big deal. I was just letting you guys know, for those of you that are running your pegs forward, you are probably better off with just moving your pegs back a hole. But with that being said, look how much further this foot brake goes down now. I don't ever want to have to push my foot brake down and it stop on something solid. Alright, now that we got that on, we can go ahead and throw on this master, which just bolts up right here. So it came with 4 bolts and a spring. The longer of the bolts are for the master cylinder, and the short bolts are for the end of the foot brake peg. Then we got this little pin right here, just slide in. And then there's a little cotter pin you throw in the back of the hole. Keep it in. Now we can go ahead and bolt the foot brake peg on the end. Again with a little Loctite. Can't forget the Loctite on these bikes, man. So the Allen wrench size for the end of the peg and the master are a 4mm. This little spring dude goes right here, and then we stretch her down to there. That way the foot brake returns. We're going to go ahead and install this line. So out of these two ends right here, the more bent one is the one that goes on the master. So you want to go washer, then put it through, then another washer, then bolt it into the master. Alright, moving up to the front, we're going to go ahead and install the rear handbrake line. So my intentions when starting this was, when I pulled this factory handbrake line out, I could just electrical tape the new one to the front of it, and then as I pulled the old line out, the new one would take its place. But the new one, the heim joints are way bigger and they don't fit through the hole. So instead of going between the frame and the battery tray, you actually have to go below the battery tray and go over the motor. And then we're going to pop out somewhere like right here above the motor, and then come up and then tie in. So let's go ahead and get busy with that. Alright, so I'm going to have to take off this lever, spin it onto the line, and then put the lever back on. And just like that, guys, everything is installed. Obviously, I still need to go through and do some wire management and get everything nice and tidy and zip tied together, but I'm not going to bore you guys with that. But got the back all nice and cleaned up, routed together. Give you guys an example of what it should look like. Also, if you guys are interested in checking out this kit for yourself, I will put a link right in the top of the description. So without further ado, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I upload new content every Sunday and Thursday, and I hope to see you guys there. Till next time, peace out.